If there is one thing I have been asked probably most to make a video on, it is how to clean glass and how to clean specifically windshields. Now, windows and windshields, especially on new vehicles, have something called off-gassing. And today I'm going to show you how to get absolutely crystal clear glass with very simple and easy to follow steps. So welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Let's jump into it. So this is my brand new 2023 Tesla Model 3 Performance, and I've been loving the heck out of this car. What I haven't been loving is the off-gassing, especially on the windshield. Now, what is off-gassing? I posted something on Twitter the other day, put up a picture of me basically driving into the sunlight directly into low dusk sun, and I just was like, oh my gosh, I can barely see out of this thing. Basically, what off-gassing is all of those brand new interior materials. Think of leather, something like this with the vegan or synthetic leather, all of the plastics. Once they start heating up after you've taken delivery, once they heat up, basically heat up, cool down, heat up, cool down, start emitting this gas. And that gas is the new car smell that we all know and love. But where it goes is actually directly on your windows. It creates this amazing haze and fog on there, extremely frustrating to get off. Now, the problem with cleaning windows is people use improper chemicals. So a lot of people use stuff like isopropyl alcohol to get off that off-gassing haze. They use just simple glass cleaners, maybe the wrong towels. The real big problem with doing this is you're not fully and properly removing that off-gassing haze. Even cars that are a year old, 2 years old, will still have this off-gassing as you go out into the sunshine. It's 100 degrees outside, your dash heats up. This keeps emitting for quite a long time. So this may be a process that you need to do every 6 months. I'll show you just quick, effective techniques to properly clean windows, but today we're really talking about off-gassing. So in front of me here, I've got all the tools that we're gonna be using today. So again, we don't wanna be using anything that is Windex. Why? Well, if you have tinted windows, maybe you just bought a brand new car, decided I really need some heat rejection in here. Ammonia is not safe to use on tinted windows, so keep that into consideration. You will still get off-gassing even with tinted windows, so you need to make sure you're using proper chemicals. Now, I really don't like the idea of using something like isopropyl alcohol, especially on windows, for a few reasons. One of the biggest reasons is it makes it almost tacky or sticky. So when you go to wipe over it, instead of being a nice slick glide, it actually picks up lint. And you'll see people, they go to wipe their windows all the time. It's just streaks and haze and you have lint everywhere. And once you get that lint on there, very, very, very annoying to actually get that off. So my car, I have not cleaned the interior windows at all. This car's about 1.5 months old and it's to the point it's driving me nuts. So I'm like, okay, let's make a video on it. Now let's quickly talk about two of my favorite glass cleaners. So for one here, we have CarPro Clarify, and here we have Koch Chemie glass cleaner. These are both very, very effective glass cleaners, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit later in the video about what I do to these to make them more preferred to my style of window cleaning. Now, again, talking off-gassing, we need to physically remove it from the window. It's not as easy as just taking one of these glass cleaners, smearing it around, because that's all you're doing. You're just pushing it into different areas, and that's how you get a ton of streaking. Also, you get streaking from using the wrong towels, using too much product, so we're gonna go through everything. One of the most effective products out there in the market, I've tested them all, I've used so many, but this regimen really works well, is using this, Adam's Brilliant Glaze on the inside windows. You can use this on the exterior windows as well. What this is basically somewhat of a polish, if you will, and it's safe to use on glass. Not gonna scratch it, not gonna do anything. But the most important thing that this has in it is a lot of solvents. So it's actually gonna go in and eat away all of that nasty grime that is all over your windows. Max, I'm gonna have you come in here and let me show you this. So this is actually a pad I use Brilliant Glaze on. This was a one-time use on a windshield. You can see how much dirt and grime is actually on your window. So you imagine, you just take a glass cleaner in there, a nice glass towel, you're just smearing the stuff around. You actually need to remove it. So the process is gonna go as this as follows. We're basically gonna use Brilliant Glaze with one of these nice foam pads. Everything's gonna be in the link in the description below for you guys to be able to purchase yourself and do it on your own car. We're gonna apply it to one window. Basically, we're just gonna do the windshield today. You're gonna apply it to the whole thing, let it sit for about 4 to 5 minutes or so, then come back in and wipe it off with a brand new microfiber towel. Now you can either use a glass cleaner at this point, or something that I use is Adam's waterless wash. This is the wrong bottle for it, but this is actually what it looks like in gallon form. The bright purple stuff, what this does is adds a ton of lubrication to the glass. Very, very, very important. Again, as I talked about with lint, if you use something that strips all the protection, I say protection, not really protection, maybe just call it slickness. If you strip all of that off, makes your life incredibly challenging down the road. After we get that wiped off, we're gonna select one of our glass cleaners. Now these glass cleaners, what I actually do is mix them 50-50 with Adam's waterless wash. Let me talk a little bit about that. Glass cleaners are very effective at doing just that, cleaning glass. A lot of them though, even Koch Chemie and the CarPro Clarify, actually start stripping away some of that slickness feel. So I like to add it back in with the waterless wash. A lot of the times when I'm doing maintenance details on clients' cars that I've already cleaned glass, or even my own personal ones, I'll strictly use straight waterless wash as my window cleaner. Very slick, and it is non-grabby at all. It doesn't add any streaking to it. Amazing, amazing product. Now, lastly, we need to talk about glass towels, because these are very, very critical. So I have two different ones here. So I actually like ones, funny enough, that are used, that are older. Now it's gonna be hard if you're purchasing glass towels for the first time, but they're all very, very different. There's tons of different ones out there that claim to do the best possible, but these I'll leave in the link in the description below. So Max, come on in here and let me show you these. These are two-sided here, and you can actually see this one is a little bit thicker pile. This one is very, very thin. I personally like the thinner side, so what I do with these, basically take them, fold them into quarters. One of the biggest problems with streaking is when people take a glass towel like this, basically an open palm, and now you're just smearing some chemical here and not in other areas, so it makes it really tricky to get a smooth surface. When you are detailing, always fold your towels into quarters. You have a little bit more cushioning, makes it a heck of a lot smoother. So we're gonna be using either one of these, basically paired with our 50-50 glass cleaner here. And then lastly, we're gonna come in with a completely dry towel, get everything off, and have crystal clear glass. So inside the Model 3 here, now I really like to get in the passenger side first. I can actually reach all the way over there. Now the problem with sitting in the driver's seat cleaning windows is of course the steering wheel. Makes it a little tricky to get all the way down to the bottom. You're having to reach over. I typically do it from the passenger side. So we're gonna take our Brilliant Glaze here, nice clean microfiber. Gonna come in here, make sure you shake this stuff up. It very much separates over a extended period of time, and I'm going to apply this quite liberally in here. All you're gonna do is come in here and start working this product in. Again, this is a solvent-based product, and it's going to get in there and really start eating away all of that dirt. You can go either in kind of circular motions, you can go in straight line motions. I personally prefer it like this. You don't need to get super aggressive with this. Do keep in mind you want to keep it off areas like this, your headliner. You don't want to just be smearing this stuff absolutely everywhere. I'm going to put this down here, put a little bit more on. And you're just gonna go in there and clean it up. Now, you almost wanna make it look like you've been having some fun, smoking in your car here. You want this nice thick haze on here, because that's going to be very, very effective at removing all of that off-gassing. Don't be afraid to come in here and scrub it a little more. Yes, it's challenging, but it is definitely rewarding. Make sure you're trying to get down as far as you can, keeping it off the speaker grills here. Make sure you get all the edges nice and neat. And you're gonna wanna let this sit for about 4 to 5 minutes. You really wanna let it harden. So now it's very much too slick on here. If you try and wipe it off, you can cause a little bit of hazing and smearing. So just let this sit for a little while and maybe go to the driver's side here, try and get some other areas. You can work on the other windows here and yeah, just let this sit. So we've now done just the inside window. Now it's very, very easy for you to clean the outside windows first. Now let me give you a little trick here. Typically when you're cleaning windows, a lot of people will go maybe only in one way. What's very effective to clean, if you're cleaning exterior and interior windows at the same time, go in one direction. So if you're on the outside, clean maybe up and down like this, and then on the inside, go the other way. So if you come outside of the car, you look inside, you've got a streak going this way, you know it's on the inside glass. If it's going up and down this way, it's on the outside glass, so keep that in mind. But this is basically what it looks like from the outside using that brilliant glaze technique. Looks like you've been hanging out with Cheech and Chong inside your car here. Very hazy. This is how it should look. Just trust the process. Okay, so we've now let this sit for a little bit. I've got my 100% waterless wash here, a fresh towel. Basically, I'm going to lightly spritz this area here. You'll see how easy that comes off. Now, the most important thing here is how slick this glass feels after you wipe this off. Now I've got a dry side here. There is zero drag. That's exactly what we're wanting for here. This is gonna give us a very easy area to go back in and clean. You wanna make sure you don't miss areas like this. This will affect your glass cleaning area. Make sure you get all the way down at the bottom. Again, wanna make sure you guys are not coming in like this. This causes streaks. Notice how my fingers wrinkle in here? This causes streaks when you're cleaning glass like this. Make yourself a nice 4 sides here. Come in here, you have a wet side and a dry side. Just come in, clean all of that off, making sure it's looking perfect. So just want to give you guys a quick demonstration here between the area that we just did with Brilliant Glaze. Just wiping my glove over this, I can feel that it's ultra slick. And then up here, oh gosh, that's terrible. What I can also feel, I'm gonna have Max hold the microphone up here. I don't know if you can hear that. It's almost like a resistance. I can actually feel it and hear it picking up all of that lint here on the glass. So if you were to come in here, try and wipe this down with glass cleaner, you are going to be adding lint. You're not adding slickness to it. Very, very important not to skip this step. This is just like as slick as humanly possible, whereas this, oh, it's just terrible. So big difference there. I'm going to continue to clean off this side, then we'll get into the actual glass cleaning technique. So we've got our glass towels ready. This is fresh out of the wash. Very important to keep these glass towels clean. I will have a video coming very, very soon on how to actually wash your microfiber towels. Not something that many people think about, but very, very important. So again, 50-50 Koch Chemie glass cleaner here with Adam's waterless wash. I'm gonna spray just a little bit here and have a wet side, just a little spritz. One area that people really make a mistake with is oversaturating their glass cleaner. That can cause a lot of streaks. Again, in keeping with making your life easier, wipe in one way on the exterior and do the opposite way on the interior. So just going up and down here, just making sure this is crystal clear so I can actually see everything. Gonna hop over here to the passenger side. Same thing, apply just a little bit. You'll notice how quickly this stuff evaporates, leaving behind no film essentially at all. Now, very important to have a wet side and a dry side. If your towel gets oversaturated, grab a new towel. And this is your last wipe, your final wipe, and should not be wet whatsoever. Okay, now that we got the exterior glass dialed in, let's jump inside and do exactly the same thing. So again, spray on here, quick mist. That's all you need. This is safe to get on dashboard components, no worries there. So I want to hit my corners first. I'm going to actually come down here, get as low as you can. Fold that towel up a little bit, just like this. Make a little cone out of it, and then we're going to work this side to side. And again, you can see how quickly this stuff evaporates. Very important here. Get your edges one last time with your dry side. Then you're going to come in here with your final towel and just make sure every last little area is perfectly crystal clear. Boom, I'm gonna hop over to the driver's side and get this window dialed in. So just finished up the front windshield, absolutely crystal clear. Now there is one other way you can do this and check to make sure your work is good. Now I do need to mention a few tips and tricks along the way. It is best to clean glass when it's cool. So if you're outside, you should really never be washing or detailing your car in direct sunlight. Causes the chemicals to dry out too quickly. That can cause a lot of streaking, and you definitely don't want to be washing out in the sun anyways. So what I do want to show you is something like this though. This is a scan grip light, what I use to check all of my windows, all of the paint, things like that, just for imperfections. What I want you to look for here is any hazing or streaking. This is essentially going to look like the sun outside. You want to just come through here, kind of walk around the vehicle, make sure you got all of the streaks out on the glass. Now let me show you an area that hasn't been cleaned, and hopefully you can see how streaky and hazy this actually was before we even cleaned it. So a couple other things I want to quickly touch on are side windows. A lot of people have a ton of issues with these. Number one, on frameless windows. So frameless windows, if you don't know, when you open and close them, they of course come down. What that creates an issue for is this lower area. If you're just coming in here, cleaning this window, wiping down here, you're missing about 1 inch to 1.5 inches on this lower side. Easiest way to do this, be cautious with it because you can lock yourself in the car, which I've done multiple times throughout my detailing career. Hop inside, close the door, and make sure you get this lower edge here. Very, very important to do. Now on frameless windows, of course, maybe you can see it here. We have a bunch of this nasty kind of slime and stuff on here. Basically, this is from the rubber, again, off gassing as it's brand new. So you're gonna see this big film on here. And this, again, another area where that Adams Brilliant Glaze, phenomenal for working on frameless windows. Now, framed windows, let's also quickly talk about those. Something like a Rivian R1T or R1S. The window actually does not roll down. It's part of the whole frame of the vehicle. What you can do, get inside the vehicle, slightly lower the windows, get that top edge, make sure it's absolutely crystal clear. Can't tell you how many details I see come out of other detail shops, and they completely miss this top area. Your customer drives out with their brand new vehicle, roll down the window to say thank you, and they go, oh, you missed this whole spot. We can do better. So hopefully this was a very helpful video for you guys. All of the products are in the link in the description below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing. Bye-bye.